Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel From the Scratch, a business clinic meant for business starters and entrepreneurs who wants to leverage on my wealth of experiences in order to build their businesses. My name is Chijioke Chikwesere, your business guardian. Here are some financial mistakes that keeps you poor without you knowing. Number one, blaming circumstances for your woes. Of course, it's very easy to blame everyone but yourself. You blame your uncles, you blame your aunts, you blame your parents, you blame the government, you blame everyone as far as you are not blaming yourself. My dear, let me tell you, when you develop this kind of attitude, you will discover that you are not going to get better. The most successful people that we have today are people that have the capacity to blame no other person but themselves. Just remember that you are blaming your uncle today. Tomorrow, you will also become an uncle. You are blaming your aunt today. Tomorrow, you will also become an aunt. You don't know that most of them also have their own problems to solve. If you know that you want to make progress in life, you need to start doing the right thing. Number two, depending on salary. Salary is not actually paid to make you rich. The only thing that salary do for you is to actually sustain you in order to continue doing the work that you are paid to do. Best definition of salary is actually money that an employer pays an employee to forget about his dreams. Number three, throwing big birthdays. You organize birthdays for your wife. You organize birthdays for yourself. You organize birthdays for your children who don't even understand the value of those birthdays. Yes, of course, it's good to celebrate, but is it good to celebrate at the detriment of your future? Instead of paying so much for birthdays for your children, why don't you invest on buying stocks or real estate for them, no matter how small it is? Instead of spending something like $100 or $50 in that birthday celebration, why don't you use it to buy stocks like Facebook or Twitter or Nvidia? Imagine how much that child must have accumulated over a period of 10 years if you spend only $100 in each year buying a particular stock for them. Number four, no skills. Imagine in this digital era where almost every work is being automated and you sit down comfortably because you are in a paid job or because you have somebody that is feeding you and you decided not to take up any skill that will help you to succeed. Anyone that does not plan has already planned to fail. So if you must succeed in this generation, that means you must learn a skill, and most times these things are very easy to learn. You can go to any online academic platform, pick a skill, develop yourself, which will enhance your earning capacity. So if you are not doing this, that means you're already caught up in the web, some of the financial mistakes that will definitely keep you poor. No plans for rainy days, especially in this part of the world. You will discover that some people will be living their lives so carelessly to an extent that when something hits them, they don't have any place to fall back to. For me personally, I always propose that if you know your living expenses every month, you are supposed to always plan to have that living expenses kept somewhere at least for a period of 8 months should anything happen to you, be it incapacitation or one thing or the other. But many of us, we don't adopt this strategy to an extent that if anything happens to us, we now start disturbing people up and down for financial assistance. So if you are doing this, you're already in the trend of people that are already making the financial mistakes that will keep them poor. Number six, believing so much in people. I want to ask you, that's your uncle that asked for your CV several years ago and he told you, let me see what I can do. So how far? Has he been able to answer you? So if he has not been able to answer you, that frustration that you are feeling right now is also the frustration that many people are feeling. So If you know that you don't want to make some financial mistakes that will keep you where you are today, then you need to stop believing so much in people and rather start believing more in yourself. Number seven, useless educational qualifications. You know, there is a saying that most poor people do things that will not anger other poor people. That's your educational journey that you are embarking today. How is it going to translate to better your life in the future? How is it going to be used to make your life more productive in the future? Or are you acquiring that PhD or master's degree just to feel belong or to feel among or to make other people to address you as a PhD holder or as a master's degree holder without actually having a reason for starting such academic journey? And this is one of the things that have kept most of us poor. We do things because we want to impress people who don't even care. And you will discover that most of the wealthy people, they don't go for the kind of educational qualifications we go for. That's why most of them go for executive MBAs, field courses that will translate to their business successes. They don't acquire useless educations. The other day, I saw a friend of mine who went to do PhD in educational curriculum, and this guy is a fashion designer. So how does the two relate? Because all his friends are doing PhD programs. So this is the thing that will keep you where you are today, because the education that you're acquiring, you are going to waste so much resources in acquiring that education that in the long run is going to be useless to you. Number eight, unnecessary socializations. You must not be in every party or event, especially when they don't have direct bearing on your life. See, most times you attend unnecessary parties even when you were not invited, and you don't understand that all these things are waste of resources, especially in situations where nobody regards you. So that is one of the financial mistakes that are keeping you poor unknowingly, and you must do everything possible to avoid that. Number nine, burials in Africa. Of course, you know, if we lost a loved one, it's not really a crime or a bad thing for you to plan a befitting burial for this person. But the problem is the attitude we show to the dead rather than showing it to the living. For instance, when we lost someone, you will discover that people will go all out to contribute monies or even go to an extent of selling landed properties in order to give the disease a befitting burial. But when this person was alive, what did you do in order to make the person's life better? You can't even raise money for that person to do business or do other things that will give his or her life more meaning. But we go all out when the person is no more to do everything possible in order to give the person a befitting burial. Sometimes I ask myself, is it really that we are trying to give the person a befitting burial, or that we are trying to satisfy ourselves? So, when you find yourself borrowing monies, doing one thing or the other, disposing of your choice assets, selling lands, properties, and houses, making unnecessary contributions in order to give a befitting burial to somebody you did not take care of when the person was alive, then you have been caught with that particular trap of one of the financial mistakes that will keep you poor. Number nine, not taking care of yourself. See, you know that the only passport you have to function in this planet is actually your body. So when you don't take care of your body, you're actually denying yourself visa to exist in this part of the atmosphere. And most times you discover that the health that you didn't take care of, when it will actually ask from you what you have been denying it, you will discover you will spend a fortune. So why don't you start today to take good care of your health? Number 10, keeping too many friends in your space. My dear, it's not everyone that you need. Imagine someone that wants to become a medical doctor, making friends with people that are selling in the market. So that kind of friendship does not really count. Rich people know how to make strategic friends in strategic places and at strategic times. That is why it is very, very necessary for you to define your life. When you define your life, you will attract the kind of people that you will need in your life in order to achieve your goal. So today, when you look at your circle, you need to spot out the people that you really need in that your journey to success, in that your journey to wealth creation. Number 11, trying to please everyone. You can never ever please everyone. Anything you do, your actions or inactions have a way of eliciting reactions from people. So you don't need to keep on explaining yourself. If you decide to be successful today, people will get angry. If you decide not to be successful today, people will also get angry. So if you start looking at everyone's reactions towards your actions, you are not going to go anywhere. So that is trying to please everyone every time is one of the things that is keeping you where you are today. Discussing people and not ideas. This is one of the things that really drives me crazy. How can mature people, I mean people that are supposed to be focused in building their destinies, gather at one spot and be discussing football teams, discussing the most richest politicians in town, discussing the richest footballer in town, discussing the musician that has the highest cars in town. Rich people discuss ideas. Poor people discuss people. Number 13, buying things you don't need and cannot afford to pay at that particular moment. This is one of the problems that many of us have. You see these clothes, you like it, you buy. You see these shoes, you like it, you buy. And most of us have many things in our closet that we have not even touched for the past 6 months. And the rich, most of them don't behave like this. That is why most of them have a particular clothes that they wear. They call it signature. But most times it's not signature. It's a way of trying to limit their choices because too many choices breeds confusion. That is one of the problems that you are having in making progress in life. You need to learn how to buy only things that you need at a particular point in time. It's even bad for you to be buying everything. Talk more of buying things you cannot even afford to pay at that particular moment. Number 14, playing safe. You have that business idea, you have that business goal that you want to achieve, but you are thinking about too many safeties. You are not thinking about what you stand to gain, but you are thinking about what you may lose. You are playing safe in acquiring that skill. There is a saying that when you want to eat frog, eat the fat one so that when people calls you a frog eater, you'll be proud that you ate the fattest frog. Stop playing safe. And finally, number 15, not asking why. You know, it's in your whys that business ideas are baited. When you don't ask why, you lose a lot. You find people doing one thing or the other. You don't even know the reason behind such actions. And then you jump into it and you join them in doing that particular thing without asking the reason behind it. So it's only when you ask why that the universe and even the business environment will open up opportunities for you. And until you start asking why, you're not going to make progress. So start asking why today.